Browsing and learning to use the internet is, yes, one of the easiest and funnest things to do today. A click here, another click there, and we can be anywhere. You can meet people from around the world. Hi! Read amazing stories and histories of the past. Ooh. And even have a glance of what may be seen in the future. But remember, using the internet without proper guidance and enough knowledge can also be one of the scariest we can ever imagine. Ooh! Imagine going on an online trip, seeing the beauty of the place, when suddenly, potential scams pop up and block your way. Scams? These are dishonest tricks used to deceive people. And we don't want that to happen to any of us. So, be your own hero online. Be internet alert. If it's too good to be true, then it's most likely fake. Fair exchanges shouldn't ask for your personal information. Always think twice or ask for the assistance of your parents and guardians before accessing a new site. Be on guard for possible phishing that will ask you to log in and give your important personal details. Whew! That was close. Good thing I am internet alert. Remember, any effort to steal your information may be a form of scam. So always trust your intuition and distinguish what's real and what's fake online. This has been your online hero, Ma'am Jennifer, reminding you to beware by being aware, keep your learning safe, and don't fall for fake.
Okay, so good evening everyone. Good evening Philippines. Good evening Asia and the whole world. Ayan, so we are now in our the GOOGLEY Filipino Teacher Season 5. Ayan, pang-5 na po natin, no? Pang-4 na po natin. Yung session 1 natin was nung November 17 with Ma'am Mary Ann, Ma'am Weng, and Sir Raymond kasama. And then we had Ma'am Tony, and Sir Conrad, Sir Romeo. And today, or tonight, is a very exciting episode for our GOOGLEY Filipino Teacher. Are you ready? Sige nga, let's see your comments. Ayan, good evening everyone. Good evening po kay Ma'am Eva Patilano and our friends from Nueva Vizcaya, Ma'am Gombio, Mary Jane. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Alright, so last week we discussed about Google Workspace for work productivity. Ayan, meron tayong Google Keep, meron tayong Google Calendar for daily activities. Tinuruan tayo how to utilize yung ating Google, yung ating Gmail, at marami pang iba pa tayong natutunan. And then our last episodes, we already had our Google Sites for our portfolio, and then Google Classroom functionalities, and a lot more. At marami pa tayong i-discuss. Ito po ay every Wednesday atid sa atin ng Educational Technology Unit. Ito po ang Google applications. And ngayong gabi po ay napakaganda ng ating pag-uusapan. Alam niyo ba yung isa sa mga napapanahong yung mga nag-trend, nag-viral na Korean movie, yung doll, nako, alam niyo ba yung mungong akog chip piyot sumida. Sana na sabi ko ng maayos. Alright, yan, alam niyo ba yun? So that's the Squid Game. Yes, you heard it right. And tonight we are going to talk about the Squid Game. Squid Game stand for securing quality instructional design using Google applications for meaningful experiences. Tonight, we are going to talk, or we will be focusing on the different ways on how as teachers can utilize Google application tools in making quality instructional materials that will provide meaningful learning experiences for our learners. Ang saya, right? This will involve making gamified instructions such as integrating the concept of Squid Game in the teaching and learning processes. Alright? So, ayan. So, lahat tayo siyempre ay matututo at mag-focus tayo because tayo ay sasamahan po ng isang expert, no? Tayo ay blessed to have this person. Napabata, no? So, i-introduce ko na is our resource speaker for tonight is a young licensed professional special science teacher in Angelo Levardo Loyola Senior High School, SDO Cavite. Shout out sa ating mga kaibigan dyan sa SDO Cavite Province. Ayan. Our guest speaker, our resource speaker devoted his pandemic time learning and sharing what he learned. He was invited as a resource speaker to talk about teaching pedagogies under the new normal education. He talked in a national webinar under Kaagapay Teacher Support, sharing his knowledge on the use of Google Education tools for teaching in online classes. He was selected as a master trainer for 100 underserved students to train STEM and underserved youth in basic data analytics, sponsored by Limitless Lab and the ASEAN Foundation. Bigate ng ating resource speaker. He was also invited as a resource speaker for the National ICT Month spearheaded by DICT LC3 Palawan to train educators all around the country on how to use digital collaborative and interactive tools. He also shared his expertise in handling Google for Education tools in Asia Pacific Connect 2021. Ang topics, utilizing formative assessments, bridging communication gaps through Google Meet, going beyond corners using Google Classroom. He also trained during the ICT specialized training for non-teaching staff, digital education webinar series, and digital workforce trainings of the Department of Information and Communications Technology for Luzon Cluster 3. He is an educational technology advocate with the following educational technology badges and certifications. Ito na. He is a Google Certified Educator Level 1 and Level 2, Google Certified Trainer, current Google Certified Innovator Student of the Virtual Innovator Academy 2021, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer, Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and Level 2, Flipgrid Certified Educator and Expert, name it, lahat ng app na yung mga edtech apps natin, he is actually expert for this. Ed Puzzle Coach, Classcraft Certified Educator Level 1, Class Doho, Ambassador and Mentor, Kami, Certified Educator Level 1 and Level 2, Moat Certified Educator, Advanced Nearbud Certified Educator, Certified Apple Teacher, Book Creator Certified Author, napakaganda ng book creator nito, CK12 Certified Educator, Level 4 Clever Certified Admin, Tech Coach and Teacher and Trainer, Insert Learning Ambassador, Class Point Certified Educator, Vocabulary Certified and Distance Learning Expert, and Kahoot Certified Coach, Master, and Mentor. Pagsabay-sabayin po natin, let's give him a big hand, Mr. Marge Joseph C. Sardo. Magandang gabi po, Sir Marge. Sir MJ, good evening.
Good
Sir
evening po.
MJ,
Good evening to everyone.
we're very blessed to have you with our episode for tonight. And ano ba yung mga dapat naming abangan no ng ating mga nanonood din no dito sa inyong discussion for tonight.
Unang-una po, thank you very much for having me tonight. So, isa sa mga napili ko pong topic is Squid Game, one of the most popular. I know that most of the games inside Squid Game is more of a physical activity. Pero in tonight's session, I decided to brainstorm and convert those physical activities into an adaptable teaching and learning activity. So, yun lang po yung mga pwede nating makita sa tonight's session.
Yes, ayan. Meron ditong tanong, ano, sir. Sabi ni Raven Ducot, what, why did it say Squid Game like supporting, ha? Yan. So, mamaya tatanungin natin, masasagot natin yan kung bakit siya Squid Game like supporting. Kasi maganda ang ating mga makukuha natin dito. And we're doing this kasi kaya natin ginagawa yun, no? Kasi yun yung mga medyo malalapit doon sa ating mga estudyante, trend, and makaka-connect. And we are just doing this para mas matuto yung ating mga teachers how to, para ma-integrate, para mag-collaborate, and engaging ang ating mga lesson ano sa ating pagtuturo. And I know Sir MJ, you are also excited to share whatever it is in Squid Game na inyong gagamitin para ang ating mga teachers ay masabi natin the Googley Filipino teachers. Siguro we're giving you the floor now. We're giving you the virtual floor for your presentation, Sir MJ. Good luck. See you
Thank you so
later.
much. So allow me to share my screen for a while lang po. And so again, good evening to everyone and welcome to our weekly Google for Education training sessions for teachers and students. So again, I am Mr. March Joseph Sardo from a faculty of Angelo Levardo Loyola Senior High School in Cavite. And my topic for tonight, my session topic for tonight is Squid Game. So it means it stands for securing quality instructional design using Google applications for meaningful experiences. Okay, so alam ko na marami sa atin ang may alam na kung ano yung Squid Game. But before we start, I just want to reiterate no kung ano ba yung Squid Game. The Squid Game is a Korean survival drama streaming television series in Netflix. So, it's a series which revolves around the contest where 456 players all are financially debt or lahat sila may utang. So they risk their lives to play a series of deadly children's game for a chance to win a prize, so which is in billion won. So yeah, if you are new to Squid Game, so I apologize. No, meron tayong mga konting, siguro sabihin nating spoilers. So I hope may matutunan kayo for tonight. So disclaimer, this session adopted only fast positive values and lessons extracted from the series mentioned. So only positive values lang po and lessons. And we use its concepts as a framework for the instructional designing. The speaker, the lecturer do not support any violence or unnecessary actions posed in the series. Ayan. So hindi po ako kumuha ng mga negative na mga pangyayari or mga sabihin natin mga something irrelevant or improper for the student. So don't worry, I only used and I only selected positive values. And of course, kinuha ko lang yung positive or yung mga concepts na pwede nating i-apply sa classroom teaching. So for our tonight session, it will be divided into two parts, no? So the first part is an instructional design. I will talk about its meaning, its principles, and of course, its process, since this is part of our session topic. So it's important for us to understand instructional design. And of course, part two will include the Squid Game itself. It's the gamified instruction I created using Google applications. Okay. So yeah, let us start. So before we start, I want everyone to say something about Squid Game. So alam ko familiar na kayo sa shapes ng Squid Game. So can you please type or send your messages or type in the chat box kung ano-ano yung mga shapes na nakikita natin doon sa Squid Game. Ayan. So let us see kung meron tayong mga shapes na natatandaan na nakikita natin doon sa Squid Game. Ayan. So thank you very much. So we will read the responses later. We are familiar with the three main shapes na meron tayo. So the first one is yung triangle. So alam ko familiar din kayo dun sa circle and then square. So hindi ako makapaniwala. Bakit? Kasi yung tatlong geometrical shapes na yun has something to do with instructional design. So parang related talaga si Squid Game sa ating instructional design. Why? Kasi the first shape that we have is a triangle. And we all know that triangles have three sides. And this represents, nakita ko to, this represents the three words which defines instructional design. So ano ba yung mga three words na yon? We have design, development, and delivery. Ayan. So meaning to say, what is instructional design? So sabi dito, it's a systematic process or approach in designing, developing, and delivering instructional materials or content. Okay, so hindi natin makakalimutan yung definition ng instructional design because of this triangular shape in Squid Game. So moving on with the next geometrical shape, we have here four sides, a geometrical shape which is the square. So meron siyang apat na sides, tama? And those four sides, luckily, are the representations of the four instructional designs. So based on a doctor in the University of the Philippines, so she used the four instructional design for learning outcomes, design for learners, for interaction, and design with digital resources. So medyo isa-isahin natin sila ng konti, no? We can use this principle as a guide din for us to develop a meaningful and of course high quality instructional design. So move on tayo sa first part. Design for learning outcomes. So design for learning outcomes mostly is all about learning outcomes, no? So ano ba yung learning outcomes? So alam natin tong lahat. These are identifiable changes anticipated in the learner. So usually nangyayari to or makikita natin siya in many forms, tama? It can be in the form of a knowledge, a new skill, tama? And attitude. Yan. So those are the different outcomes or those are the different manifestations of the learning outcomes. So for us to be able to understand it well and to apply or integrate it sa ating design or ating instructional design, we can ponder to these questions. No? So napakaraming questions ang pwede nating i-evaluate or i-reflect, but I selected just a few. So yung first one natin are, what are the objectives? So ito yung unang-una talaga na ating dapat isa-alang-alang. Tama, sa kahit ano namang gawin natin, either kahit ito ay PowerPoint presentation, lesson plan, di ba? Laging nauuna si objectives. And of course, we need to craft the objectives in this format. No? So pwede siyang case hubs. We need to identify kung ano yung knowledge objectives, skill objectives, no, yung objectives which will improve or which will help students to acquire new attitude and values. And of course, what's the next part? Are this defined and shared? So wag nating kalimutan na when we are working with objectives and doing objectives, dapat natin siyang i-share. Hindi man siya directly, pero dapat inform si student kung ano ba yung magiging learning outcomes na dapat nilang makuha sa kanilang sa kanilang studies. Tama? And the last one is, how will learners know they achieve the outcome? So usually this is manifested using the scores and of course the performances, portfolios of students at the end of the lessons. So moving on with the design for learners, this principle is addresses inclusion and diversity among learners. Ayan. So wag natin kakalimutan yung word na inclusion and diversity. Okay? So we all know that the students have individual differences. And ano yung dapat nating gawin for them to perform well in class despite of the differences that they have. To perform, of course, in harmony. Excuse. So meron tayong guides din or checklist. Are the learners' differences valued? Ayan. So pinapahalagahan ba natin yung pagkakaiba-iba ng mga estudyante? So ano yung mga pwede nating gawin? Say for example, may mga students 'di ba na mabilis gumawa, mga ganyan, mabilis makapkyap, mga ganyan, mabilis yung facing ng kanyang task. May mga students naman na kailangan pa ng maraming guidance, kailangan nandun may mga more knowledgeable individuals. So ano yung isang example na binavalue natin yung differences nila. So according to the University of the Philippines, one example is you are going to provide, say for example, rewards for those who are achievers. No, so rewards for those who are fast learners. Tapos doon naman sa mga slow learners, aside from the support that we are giving, we can provide reinforcements, no? So para hindi sila mawala doon sa path na tinatahak natin. So aside from that, the most important thing that we need to take note of with is yung support and feedback na available dapat sa learners. And so everything under the design for learners is of course about the learners. And then design for interactive dialogue. So this principle encompasses interactions between these following elements: si teacher, si students, at yung content. Okay, so that is how the students will create an interactive or a dialogue, an interactive session, no? So hindi lang laging teacher-student ang interaction. Dapat meron ding student-student interaction. Meron namang student-content interaction. Minsan meron ding teacher-content interaction. Okay? So let us remove the connotation that interactions only happens on two or more persons. Pwede rin siya dito sa content. So questions to ponder: are there opportunities for collaboration and or peer learning? So this is one of the most important thing na dapat nating i-consider. Dapat ay meron tayong ways on how we can provide collaboration. So an area of collaboration. And of course, our communication feedback available. So kung mapapansin nyo, inulit lang yung sa kanina. Why? Kasi feedback and communication is important sa kahit anong part ng lesson. Ayan, so supports are needed in any part of the lesson, di ba? So kahit saan siya, either kahit doon siya sa content, sa assessment, di ba, sa technologies na ginagamit, yung support talaga is always dapat available. Pero yun yung ideal talaga, dapat available, no? So kaya dapat meron tayong iba't ibang means and ways on how we can provide those supports. Okay. So moving on with the last one, design with digital resources. This principle houses the use and integration of educational technology. Yan. So dyan ay papasok yung ating topic today, which is yung tinatawag natin na technology integration. So I use Google applications. No? So questions to ponder: are the tools evaluated based on affordances? Do the learners have access and literacies on the tools? Ayan. So isa sa mga importante ay ang literacies. And of course, access. No? Kasi kung hindi naman pala siya accessible for the students, it's not a good candidate to be used. No?
Hello. Yan, naririnig ba ako? Ayan, so, yeah, meron lang sigurong technical difficulty si Sir MJ, but then, sorry. So, okay, so balikan lang natin yung mga nabanggit kanina, no, ni Sir MJ. Marami na siyang na-share sa atin. Actually, isa na nga dyan, yung mga shapes, kino-connect natin yung shapes of the Squid Game, yung mga icons natin doon sa ginagawa natin ngayon to rationalize kung bakit nga ba naman itong Squid Game yung ating nagiging the basis of our instructional design. And sinasabi nga, balikan natin yung kanina, yung triangle na shape sa instructional design is the sides of the triangle represents the three words. Ano nga ulit yung three words? Sige nga, comment nga po kayo dyan. Yung three words which defines instructional design. Ano po yung mga instructional designs na yan? Sige, let's have yung ating mga participants. Ayan, from SDO Cotabato, si Ma'am Elna Reyes, nandyan po siya. Hello po sa inyo. Ayan. And thank you, Violi Peralta, for using our hashtag Google for Education, Googly Filipino Teachers. Ano nga po yung tatlo na words na yan? So what are these three words? Our three words are the design, development, and the delivery. And yung ating yung square, kung saan dinidiscuss ni Sir MJ, yan, Sir MJ, yung ating
Ayan, so,
square ay
ayan.
sabi nga po, no, sir, ito yung instructional design slide.
Narinig na po ako.
Outcomes. Yes, Sir MJ, naririnig ka na po namin.
Thank you so
Naririnig
much
mo
po.
rin ako, sir.
Yes po. Loud and clear
Yan,
po. And I
nagkakarinig na po tayo.
apologize, no? Ayan. So,
No problem,
I'll go-
sir. You may continue. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much po. Ayan. Um, ayan, so I hope yan, that you are learning something pa rin despite of the technological difficulties, no? Okay. So, yan. I'll go back with Adi. Ayan. Yeah, so we have here a model, no, to manifest or to make an exact mechanism to power up the process. No? So we have here the ADI model. Sabi ko nga kanina, kailangan nating i-highlight na ang ADI ay dapat iterative and of course continuous. No? So ito yung model natin. We can see that this is nangyayari siya. So meron tayong sort of A, D, D, I, and E. So makikita natin kung ano yung mga definitions ng tinatawag natin na ADI model. So the first letter of the ADI model is analysis. So it has something to do with the analyzation of the current situation to understand the gaps that we need to fill. So mostly, tinutukoy nito is identifying variables that we need to consider, no, in crafting our instructional design or instructional materials. So usually, nandito yung learners' characteristics and resources na available. So isa sa mga napili kong topic, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, is Squid Games. I considered the students' preferences. No? So since this is popular, mostly sa mga young individuals and of course sa ibang adult workers or adult learners, no, so I consider the preferences of the students, and of course since this is popular and timely, so nilagay natin siya sa analysis part. And then of course the resources available, yan, medyo naging challenging sa part ko because sabi ko kanina, Squid Games, the games of the Squid Games are mostly physical in nature, 'di ba? Lagi siyang physical. Pero pwede natin siyang gawan ng paraan para maging kapaki-pakinabang siya inside the classroom teaching.
Ayan. Sir MJ, you're there.
Hello po.
Diyan na
Ayan.
po kayo.
Okay. Ayun, ayan. Thank you so much po. Okay. I'll continue na. So, the second letter of the ADDIE model is about design. So, yeah. The design is based on our analysis. No? So, kung nag-analyze tayo ng problems, kanina isa lang yung binigay ko na sample, which is yung student preferences. Pero tandaan natin na marami pa tayong dapat i-consider in our design, in our analysis. No? So, based on our analysis, make informed decisions to design the best possible learning experience. Yun nga, since I have the analysis, I have the student preferences, I decided to use Squid Game as a design no, of my teaching and learning process. So, i-consider din natin sa loob ng design is, of course, how the materials will be created. So, meron ba tayong mga possible ways para mag-materialize yung design na meron tayo? So, ano yung mga gagamitin natin? And of course, it's the part wherein we need to select and use the digital or educational technology tools that we have. Ayan. So, nandito yung selection ng edtech tools, no? So, and I decided to use Google applications, no, para maging mas user friendly and of course mas madaling gamitin yung ating design. Okay? So, yung ating concept. So, moving on with the next D, it's the development. It's the bringing our learning experience to life by building our end product. No? So, dito na natin gagawin or dito na tayo mag-start ng paggawa ng content. And of course, I hope that every teachers know about copyright clearance. No? So, I hope that wala tayong maging problema sa copyright ng Squid Game. And before I move on, I would like to thank pala yung gumawa ng template, no? So that is available in public. Ayan. So para clear tayo sa copyright clearance. Ayan. So moving on, before we start with the second part, no, I would like to show you the different Google applications na nagamit ko sa loob ng para makagawa ng Squid Game environment. So alam ko familiar na kayo sa lahat. We have here Google Slides, meron tayong Google Sheets, Google Meet, Gmail, Google Docs, Google Forms pala rather, Calendar, Jamboard, and of course Google Classroom. Okay? Yeah. So I'll be moving on with our next part. Yan. So welcome to our Squid Game. Ayan. So this is a classroom or this is a Google Classroom. I use Google Classroom as a learning management system for the Squid Game. Ayan. So hindi ako magtuturo ng individual applications, no? Because I know that many of the speakers already taught you about the different navigation, the different features of each Google application tools, no? So at this point, I would like to show you ayun, yung some of the preparations that I made to create a Squid Game. So yan, kagaya ng Squid Game, ayan, meron tayo ditong mga participants, no? So, yan. So para mas ma-feel ko na kunwari ay talagang ako yung nagfa-facilitate ng Squid Game. Binago ko yung profile ko sa Gmail yan. So we can use the different icons na available on the internet as long as it's copyright clearance, no? Free from copyright issues. Yan. So, and then yung students ko, I added some sample emails sa akin and I replaced the profile features. Yan. Pwede nyo naman siyang ipagawa sa students. Pwede din naman na hindi na. No? So, yeah. We have here additional features. No? So, punta na tayo dito sa classwork. So, an idea, no? Pwede tayong magkaroon ng idea na, di ba, sa Squid Game may binibigay na card. Parang, kumbaga, yun yung tatawagan mo para isama ka nila sa Squid Game. So, pwede nyo siyang gawin. Instead of the numbers na nakalagay dun sa card, it's the Google Classroom code, no? Para kapag clinic ni students yun, makapasok sila dun sa loob ng Squid Game. So, we have here 5 different games. Game 1, red light, green light. Game 2, add man out. So, pinalitan ko yung name ng Dalgona. So, this is the Dalgona game. Number 3 or game 3 is tug of war. Game 4 is match and catch. So since it's really hard to think of a substitute or alternative doon sa marble, so I created a match and catch game. So same principle lang din siya halos. And then meron din tayong Crystal Walk. So this is the final game. Hindi ko na nilagay yung Squid Game. Ayan. So Crystal Walk, I know that you know yung scene ng Crystal Walk. Okay? So we have here the first game. Ayan, red light, green light. Again, I used Google Classroom as the game room. So I included here topics. So meron tayong 5 topics. And then assignment quizzes. So dito sa create, I just included quiz assignments or assignments. Yan. And may iba't ibang connected na applications. So let's explore game number 1. Green light, red light. Okay, so I'll show you. Simple lang naman siya, pero hindi naman ako masyadong lumayo dun sa concept na green light, red light. So let's start and look at game number 1. Ayan. So para 'di ba, para mas ma-feel nila na Squid Game pa rin 'to. Yan. So nasa loob tayo ng Squid Game. Game 1, red light, green light. So yeah, I search yung size nung Google Forms banner, no. So kasama din siya sa talk ng previous speaker before. So para mas ma-maximize nyo yung banner, i-search nyo yung size and then ilagay nyo siya dito. And so we have the green light, red light. So ang information or data na kailangan ko lang sa student is of course yung kanilang email addresses and yung kanilang full name. Ayan. So let's try to play it. So hindi naman siya sobrang and let's try to play our first game. So let's say for example, let's proceed to the next part. So kung makikita nyo, hindi pa rin mawawala yung mga basic features na kailangan natin i-include sa loob ng Google Forms, di ba? So we need a student data, of course, para alam natin kung kanino nang gagaling yung kanilang mga answers. So for easy track, para madali lang din yung tracking. Yan. So our concept of green light, red light goes like this. So do not forget to include instructions, no? Ayan. So ang naisip ko dyan, and I want to you to know na dapat or mas better siguro kung ilalagay natin dyan is somewhat our video recording ourselves and telling the students about the instructions, no. So bakit kasi one of the good thing na dapat gawin sa mga lessons is dapat i-convert natin siya or lagyan natin siya ng human touch, no. Let us make the lessons more human in nature. So mas maganda kayo nakalagay, but because of time and because hindi ako masyadong sa videos, but as teachers we need to do this, no. So if you have time and resources, you can do that. So nakalagay dito instructions. Read each statements and select the word green if it's the appropriate thing to do or something that we can that we can accomplish, no. And then select the word red if otherwise, or yung mga bagay na dapat nating tigilan or stop. So nagets nyo yung point ko, it's a red light, green light concept. So red means stop and green means go. So instead of walking, no, and going to the finish line, ginawa ko siya as something na we can use in the classroom teaching. Ayan. So, kung gusto nyong ma-feel na nasa loob kayo ng game number 1, so pwede kayong mag-play ng sound sa loob. Ayan. Habang nagsasagot ng answer. Ay, nagsasagot ng question, rather. Ayan. So, pwede nyo siyang gawin, this point, no? So, i-post muna natin yung sound. Ayan. So, we can integrate the sound para ma-feel talaga ng estudyante na sila ay nasa loob ng Squid Games. Okay? So, and I included different subjects para at least may idea yung iba on how we can use this concept, no? So, the first one that I included here is chemistry. So, nakalagay ito, is it okay to mix chlorine and rubbing alcohol for fun experiments? Ayan. So, is it okay? Is the action proper or appropriate or not? Kasi for fun lang naman siya na experiment. So is it a green, a go, or a red, a stop? So let's try to answer red, kunwari. So 3 questions lang naman to. This will be fast, no? So for social studies, say for example, it is our role to teach the young people the value of pagmamano or honoring gesture. No. So is it a green or a red? Yan. You can also send your answers in the chat box, no? So ano sa tingin niyo yung proper answer? So green light, red light, is it a go? Is it a stop? So of course, sa atin bilang teacher, it's a green. Diba? And then for example, for professional development, it is necessary to deduct assessment scores to those students who submitted their work beyond deadline. Ayan. Is it a red light, green light? Ayan. So, pipiliin ko ay red. Ayan. So, sir, bakit clinic mo yung red na word? Kasi sa instruction, ang nakalagay ay word lang. Select the word green, not the color green. So, words dapat ang titingnan ng mga students. Ayan. O, di ba? Isa yun sa mga panggulo. Although, itong green is a color green talaga, we need to see if the students will clearly understand the instructions. So, yan. Sa first part pa lang, marami na yung mai-eliminate, di ba? Parang ganun sa Squid Game, di ba? Sa first part, ang dami na eliminate. So, let's try to submit the game with the answers. Yan. Once submitted, students will no longer redo or retake the assessment, no? Yan. So, doon natin makikita kung magpo-proceed ang bata sa next part or hindi. Bakit? Kasi I included a feature. Yan. So, hindi ko ituturo yung paggawa ng mga questions, ng answer keys, no? So, I created, ayan. Medyo nagbago lang ako ng settings, no? So, alam ko naman na familiar na sa atin tong mga settings na to. So, hindi ko pinakita yung mga correct, hindi ko sila binigyan ng chance para makita agad yung scores. So, pwede ko siyang ibigay later if lahat na sila ay makapagsagot. Yan. So, hindi ko rin binakita yung missed question, correct answer, point values. Pero sa normal classroom teaching, pwede to. Allowed naman siya, no? Kaya lang kasi ang goal ko is to select few students to get a reward, no? Kaya nga sabi ko, this game is just a supplementary. Yan, pwede siyang supplementary. Pwede rin siyang gawing normal classroom and teaching, learning and teaching process pala. Pero babaguhin niyo yung ibang limitations kasi medyo naglagay ako ng limitations. Yan. And then, yung in-include ko kanina na email, ayan, perfect yung score ko, no? So, sa email address nung batang nagsagot or nung estudyanteng nagsagot, may na mare-receive siya na, ayan, wait lang. Okay. Ayan, meron tayong mare-receive. Ay, hindi siya nag-generate. Wait lang. Meron tayong mare-receive na notification kung tayo ay nakapasa or hindi. Okay? So, yeah. So, since nakapasa yung ating student, since perfect score siya doon, nakalagay 3/3, ayan, may makaka-receive siya ng ganitong notification. Ayan. So, your certificate here for game 1 is, ayan, you passed game number 1. Yan. So, ganito yung method na ginawa ko. So, alam ko, this is a feature which is known as the Certify M. So, if you're familiar with a Google extension, yung tinatawag nating Certify M. So, pakita natin. Yan. So, after magsagot ni bata, di ba sa Squid Game, may mga nawala or na-eliminate. So, para makita natin kung sino lang yung magpo-proceed ng mga students, yung mga student na nakakuha ng perfect scores will receive a notification to their email that they passed and of course, a password, no? So, saan gagamitin yung password? Later, makikita natin kung saan gagamitin yung password. So, yeah, nilagyan ko siya ng isang Google extension or Google Form extension. So, yung tinatawag natin na Certify M. This one. Ayan. So CertifyM is an application we can use, no, to send or to award perfect sila ng exam, makaka-receive sila ng certificates, ganyan, including their scores. So, pwede siyang gamitin using the CertifyM control. Okay? Ayan. So, nakalagay dito, ayan, kasi certification status on. So, pwede nyo siyang i-download sa Google Extensions. Ayan. So, 98 emails remaining na lang. Ang nilagay ko dito is gumawa ako ng sarili kong template sa Google Drive and then in-upload ko dito. So Certify M after ang magkagandahan ng Certify M, pwede kang maglagay ng passing rate, no? So kung kayong teachers, halimbawa, ayaw naman nating perfect scores lang yung mabigyan ng password, no? Gusto natin at least mga 80% yan, siguro mga 80% yan. Pwede natin siyang baguhin dito. So but sa case ko, I want it to be perfect, yung mga 3/3. So, just to include the elimination concept doon sa Squid Game. Okay? So, pwede naman, binibigyan ko lang kayo ng examples. No? So, yeah. The downside is, meron lang siyang 100 sending emails a day. So, pwede pa rin siyang mag-refresh kinaumagahan. I mean, after 24 hours, balik ulit sa 100. Ibig sabihin, 100 times lang siya magsisend ng certificate sa isang araw, no? So kung may estudyante ka na nakapasa na 101, hindi mo na siya makaka-receive ng certificate. Okay po ba? Yun. So yun lang yung limit ng certified. But since hindi naman ganun kadami yung mga students natin, okay na siya 100 per day. Okay? Ayan. So take note of this. This is a sample form of feedback and collection of data. Ako po ba? Data collection. So we can use this scores, no, para makita natin kung ano yung, for example, maraming mababa or maraming naka-2. So hanapin natin yung question na yun sa number 2. Halimbawa, ano ba yung question number 2? Yan. Pwede natin siyang hanapan ng paraan kung paano natin mai-improve yung question. Baka kasi hindi masyado naintindihan ng bata or ganyan. So that's the important thing that we need to consider. Okay? So that is the red light, green light concept of Squid Game, game number 1. Yan. Since nakakuha ako ng certificate, pwede na akong mag-proceed sa game number 2. Yan. Game number 2, add man out. Medyo nahirapan ako sa part na to kasi mahirap maghanap ng substitution sa dalgona, no? And hindi lahat ay may dalgona. So, ginawa natin siyang textual in nature. Yan. So, game number 2, those who passed and receive certifications and codes and including passwords will continue. Yan. So, another email, lagay ulit natin. Yan. So let's take another. Ayan. So ang game number 2, it requires password, no. So hindi ka makaka-proceed kung wala kang na-receive na email at wala kang password na makikita. So sa case ko may password akong nakuha. Tingnan natin kung makakapasok tayo sa game number 2. Yan. So let's try. Kunwari, hindi ka naka-receive ng password tapos in-access mo yung game number 2. No? Lalagyan ko na ng hula-hulang password. Click next. Yan. Hindi ako makaka-proceed sa next part of the game. Nakuha po ba? So this is an example of a feature which is known as response validation. And so pwede kayong gumamit ng response validation. So sample tayo ng isang response validation. Insert ako ng question. Teka, dito tayo sa section 2. Medyo malaki pala yan. So, kunwari ay password. So, paano yung ginawa natin sa password? It's a password, it's a short answer. Click the 3 buttons dito. And select response validation. Yan. So, sa response validation, mag-isip ka, numbers lang ba ang pwede nating ilagay? Pwede ba, gusto mo ba text na may kasamang numbers din naman to? So, contains or does not contain, or email, URL, mga ganyan. So, pag email, of course, laging hingin niya yung .gov, .com, .ph, mga ganyan. Email pala, at Gmail at Hotmail at yan yung mga email ad na ending na prefix. And then sa URLs, of course, yung nature niya na URL. Sa case ko, gusto ko yung text ay naglalaman ng eksaktong letters na ganyan. So wag kalimutang lagyan ng text ito. Kasi pag hindi mo siya nilagyan, makikita nung student yung password kasi ang lalabas ay ito. So dapat itago natin siya. Kaya yung kaninang nakita nyo na insert password, iyon yung nilagay ko dito sa custom error text. Kasi pag wala tong custom error text, ang lalabas sa part na to is yung mismong password. Okay, so do not forget that. Yan, so isa sa mga features ng Google Forms, response validation. Di ka makaka-proceed sa next part if you did not include the specific requirements na hinahanap doon sa part na yun. Okay? Yeah, so proceed tayo sa game number 2. So this is admin out. Instructions, again, you can make this a video para at least more human siya ang dating. Yan. So analyze the words around each sugar honeycomb. Select the word you think does not belong to the group. So wrong answers will break the honeycomb. So like the game number 1, you can include the sound para feel mo na ikaw ay naglalaro sa Squid Game. Yan. So post ko muna yung sounds para medyo marinig natin yung audio, no? Ayan, so sample natin sa mathematics, admin out. So yan, like what I said, medyo mahirap siyang hanapin alternative, but this one is the same concept, no? So pag nga naman mali ka ng piniling side, mali ka ng piniling, halimbawa, hindi mo naayos yung, hindi mo na matanggal yung dapat tanggalin, eh mababali talaga yung pinaka-importante na part ng honeycomb. So at this point, yan, we have several answers here. So is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 12, 24, 48, 86, 172? None. Yan, sige nga. Which is the odd man out? Alin dyan yung hindi kasama sa group? So tingnan natin kung may mag-answer. Is it 1, 2, 4, 6, 8? Yan. So syempre, ang ginagawa natin sa part na to, walang specific instruction, 'di ba? Sa parang logical reasoning siya, bakit kaya ito yung tatanggalin ko. Yan. So pinapakita ko lang siya na kung paano natin siya pwedeng gamitin sa iba't ibang subjects, no. Ayan. So, ang pipiliin ko itong 12, 24, 48, 86. Yan, may nag-answer kaya ng 12, 24, 48, 86, 172. Yan, kasi 'di ba ang double yan, 48 times 2 is dapat 96. Ang kasunod 86. Yan lang, mga common na samples. Say for example, in English, ito yung topic ay synonyms, no? Outrage, angry, furious, ayan. Alin kaya dyan ang pwede nating gamitin? So, pwede natin siyang piliin. So, say for example, si outrage. No? Ayan. And then, last one, ikaw, tayo, ako. Yan, mga panghalip, panao. So, alin dito yung pwede nating gamitin? So, say for example, itong ikaw. Yan. So, let's see. Submit. Ayan. So, admin out and yung ating dalgona part is now done. So, ano yung gagawin natin sa part na to? Sa part na to, the students will no longer receive certificates, no? Kasi our goal or our instructions or our decision will fall on those students who got the high scores. So, gagamitin na natin si Google Sheet. Ayan, sorry, medyo di pa ako naka-move on sa paggawa ng grades. Kaya medyo ako. Ayan, so sa kunwari ang score natin ay 2/3, nakita natin dito. So all of the participants and players, no, will submit their answers and magma-manifest dito yung kanilang mga scores. Lalabas dito yung mga scores nila. And we can use the feature or the function of Google Sheets na sort. So kung sino yung highest scores or yung mga perfect scores, yan, kukunin natin yung mga email addresses nila. So bakit ganoon? Bakit hindi na lang tayo nagpadala ng card? Kasi the game number 3 has something to do with this one. No? So pagkuha ko ng email address, punta na ako ngayon sa Google Calendar. Yan. Google Calendar. And then we will going to create an event. So say for example, I'll create game number 3. Game 3. Ayan. So yung mga i-invite lang natin o yung mga nakasama lang dito ay ilalagay natin sa guest. Ay. So kanina, ayan, kunwari ito lumabas. Yan. So sino yung mga high scores, sila lang yung makaka-receive ng email, no? Sila lang yung makakapasok doon sa ating Google Meet. So save natin kunwari, ayan. Why? Kasi game number 3 requires the use of a conference call, no, a video conferencing. Say for example, December 3, game number 3. Yan. So sila lang yung makakapasok dun sa link, sila lang yung i-admit at sila lang yung makaka-receive ng email that they pass the third round. Okay? So yeah, that's how we can use Google Sheets, sort out data, copy information, and so on and so forth. So move on na tayo sa game number 3. Yan. So yung
Alright, so that's odd man out. So balikan ko lang yung kanina po, yung kanina ay red and green light yung ating usual na nakikita sa Squid Game, no? Napakaganda ng ating game kasi tingnan natin yung ating mga ginagawa dito, no? Yung hindi may parang level siya, hindi ka pwedeng mag-proceed sa isang level hangga't hindi ka nakakapasa. Kaya naman napakaganda at very engaging itong ginagawa natin. Pero let me have the shout out first habang hinihintay natin si Sir MJ. Thank you so much for watching, Ma'am Enoria Vestidas from Hamindan, Capiz. And good evening din po kay Sir Leo Corrales from Pagkakaisa Elementary School, San Antonio, Binyan, Laguna. At syempre lahat ng ating mga kasamang teacher dyan sa SDO Las Piñas. Ayan, nandito na ulit si Sir MJ. Sir MJ, tama ba, no? Bago ka mawala ulit, no? Itong natin is parang level, no? You cannot proceed with the next level unless na nako-complete mo or na-meet mo yung objective ng first game bago ka mag-proceed dun sa
yes po,
susunod na
yes po.
game. So, no,
Yes po, that's
very
correct po.
nice.
And ayun, if ever man na sabihin natin, baka kasi yung iba isipin na, paano yung iba na hindi makakapag-proceed, no? Sabi ko nga, we can change naman yung limitations. Kaya sabi ko dito sa part na to, we are really using the concept of elimination na pinapakita ng Squid Games. So since game number 3,
Yes.
siguro third elimination, eliminated na ako ng pangatlong beses. Ayan, so proceed na tayo
Hindi
sa
naman, hindi
next
naman.
game.
Yes, next game. So habang sinishare
Ayan,
mo yan,
so
Sir MJ, no? Siyempre, isa sa mga strategies, pag na-eliminate po yung mga estudyante natin, let's not stop na sila ay na-eliminate na. So we can do something about it. Kaya nga yung pinakita ni Sir MJ kanina, yung analytics, napaka-importante. I-review natin, baka mayroong mga nahirapan sa tanong, pwede natin i-adjust or i-augment yun. So, let's proceed, Sir MJ, at mamaya, hindi ka naman
ay, thank you very
i-eliminate,
much
alam ko.
po again,
Laban.
Sir Argiel.
Laban.
Ayan, so naririnig pa rin po ba ako? Ayan, baka po ulit ako ay wala. Ayan. So proceed ulit tayo. Ay, nasaan na yun? Yan. So, instructions, all players will be divided into 2 groups. So, same method or same mode na ginagawa dun sa Squid Games. Each group will take a stance on an issue back up with claims. So, for best tags, judges will decide which group will win based on the strength of the tag. thugs, no? So ang gagawin natin is yung mga selected few, yung mga nanalo na students, no, yung mga natitirang onting number ng students will be divided into two groups, no, randomly. So kasi nga 'di ba diversity wins brainstorming. Ayan. So isa sa mga strategies sa Squid Game, 'di ba, yung iba pare-parehas kasi sila ng hinanap, lahat malalakas, yung iba naman lahat ay maabilidad, mga ganyan. So dun sa part or sa group ng mga bida, iba-iba sila ng strengths, iba-iba sila ng power. So naging mas advantageous sa kanila. And kasama silang expert, no. So moving on, no, kasama sila sa Google Meet. They will be about the different answers that they can give, no, with regards to solving an issue or saying something about an issue, no. So pag lumabas si issue, bibigyan ng time ang mga players to think of the answers on the issues, and of course provide at least 4 strongest thug or supporting claims, no. And then ipe-present sa amin. Ayan, nakaganyan yung layout. So meron tayong tag number 1, tag number 2, tag number 3, tag number 4. Meron din sa kabilang 4 na thugs. So those tag will be evaluated by the judges, no. Sino sa kanila yung may mas matimbang na point, may mas malakas na tag. 'Di ba kung mas malakas yung nabubal. Kung mas malakas yung tag mo, original na game na tug of war. So sila yung mananalo. So that is how we can apply the tug of war inside our class. It's some sort of a thinking activity na yung pinaka-strongest claim will help you pull the string or pull the rope, no, para kayo ay manalo. Ayan. So we can also use polls, no? Polls din sa mga students. Meron mga extensions, Google extensions na pwede nating ilagay diyan para yung mga students, say for example, mga students na eliminated, para kasama pa rin sila sa game, o decide which of these statements are the strongest, no. So yun, pwede silang i-involve as voters of the jury, o kaya yan, pwede yan. So yeah, that's game number 3. Yung mga mananalo will proceed to the 4th game. Yan. So which is the match and catch game. So it has something to do with the marble game, no. Yeah, medyo bilisan natin ng konti. I hope na hindi na ako ma-eliminate. So game number 4. So it's a catch and match game. Yan. So the idea is ganito. Medyo loading lang tayo ng konti. Kasi sa marble, 'di ba, iba't iba sila ng way on how they will win. Medyo nag-play yung sound. I hope di siya masyadong distracting. So automatically magpe-play yung sound. Sa catch and match, we have here the instructions. So each player will be given 3 catch cards and 3 match cards randomly. So as you can see, meron tayong catch card dito. Ayan. And then yung match card natin. So match cards are groups a group of words or pictures that defines, describes, or illustrates a catch card, which is a single word. Okay, so take note of that. Match cards are group of words, so pwede siyang definitions, or pictures that defines, describes, illustrate a catch card, a single word. So nag-gets po ba yung point? Ang catch card natin ay liquid, ang match card natin ay water. So kailangan match yung ating catch card and match card. So yung dalawang players will be given a catch card and a match card random. So hindi agad sa match. And then the player will analyze their cards and arrange the correct catch match pairs using Google Slide. So if there are pairs that do not fit together, players can swap one card from one another. So the guards will facilitate the card swapping, and each has a 3 maximum card swaps. The players with the highest number of correct matches will win the game. Yeah, so let's look at the example. Ayan, so this is the Google slide, no. Ibibigay natin sa player 1 yung deck niya. Yan, ito yung sa deck cards, yung din tayong card ng player 2. Okay, yan. So meron tayong catch card, 3 for each players. and match card, tatlo din for the player number 1. Yan. So nakalagay of words. So yung match natin is a group of word. So this is a concept in chemistry. So sabi doon, pwede nyong i-arrange cards do. So pwede tayong maghanap dito. Yan, catch natin si liquid, match natin yung liquid na picture. Match, negatively charged atom, positively charged. Catch natin matter, atom. So parang walang match dito sa part na to. Dito naman, sa kabila, solid is catch, match natin tama, solid ice, solid water pala, which is ice. Electron, yan, kung napansin nyo kanina, yung negatively charged atom ay nasa kabila. So, if nagkaroon na sila ng arrangement, no, yan, pwede na silang magsabi na magsaswap sila ng isang card. So, randomly, ibibigay mo yung mga wala kang, tawag dito, wala kang, ay, itong mga walang kamatch or hindi properly match sa isang player, no? So, maximum of 3 lang, and then ganun din si player number 2. Yan. So, sabay nyo siyang ibibigay. And then, kung sino ang may pinakamaraming match sa swapping, ayan, after nila mag-swap ng 3 times, that is the time that the player will win. Yan. So, at least meron silang 3 matches. So, at least 2 matches, for example, tapos yung isa walang match. Yan. So, this is tricky. Bakit? Kasi hindi nila sure kung tama ba yung pagmamatch nila ng card sa catchwords. Okay? So, pwede natin kasing ilagay dito ay, sabihin natin, kunwari, matter. Tapos, ilagay ko dito tong water kasi yung water is considered a matter. Diba? Ayan. So, pwede silang malito kung alin yung match and catch. Kaya, i-correct natin o titingnan natin dun sa answer keys kung sino ang makakakuha ng maraming tama. So, that is how we will play match and catch cards. So, same lang din siya sa marble. Sa marble ay add even yung sa iba, di ba? Kapag mali yung hula mo, yan, kung sino pinakamaraming makukuhang marbles, yan, siya yung mananalo. Ganun lang din yung concept ng match and catch. And after the game of matching and catching, yan, we will now proceed to the last game, Crystal Walk. So I hope medyo kahawig nito yung ating laro. No? Yan, sa ating Crystal Walk, so let's try to play this. Ayan. So ating Squid Game, Crystal Walk, ay meron tayong 2 sides of the parang ladder yon, di ba? Parang crystal ladders. Yan. So magpe-play ulit yung sound para maramdaman natin na tayo ay nasa loob ng Squid Game. So instructions, read the question and select the correct answer. Move on to the next crystal. Read the question and select the correct answer to move on to the next crystal. Wrong answers will eliminate the players. Yan. So wala namang mahuhulog sa atin, pero meron akong ginawang parang makita lang natin na parang same siya ng concept with the Squid Game. So you will answer a question. The first player will be the first one to answer the question, no? What is the largest organ in our body? Is it the liver or the skin? Say for example, ang answer niya is liver, which is we believe wrong. Anong mangyayari sa kanya? Ayan. So kagaya dun sa Squid Game, siya ay mahuhulog or mababasag yung crystal. So ganun yung ginawa kong way on how we can adopt the crystal walk. And then player number 2 will enter. So since alam niya na that liver is wrong, mag-step siya dito sa skin. So move on na siya sa next question. Yun. Kagaya doon, di ba? Nasa kabilang ano na siya, bahagi. So highfalutin also means, let's try, nahulog si player number 2. So as a player number 3, the skin, pretentious. Yan. Dito na ako sa question number 3. The Spanish colonial period of the Philippines began in, of course, it's 1521. So nilimit ko lang siya sa 3 questions, no? So para lang for demo purposes. Pero you can include as many questions as you can and add timers, mga ganyan, kung hanggang anong oras lang yung isang team, ganyan. And then you can also randomly select participants, no, kung sino yung mauuna sa sino yung mauunang player, 'di ba? Kasi magsa-sacrifice sila. Yan. So lahat ng matitira will receive an incentive, no? Pwede siyang, ako kasi usually ang mga gusto kong incentive, say for example, yung mga kailangan nila sa class, say load balance.
Ayan. So, sige. Napakaganda no na dinadagdag ang maganda sa ginagawa ni ang sinishare ni Sir MJ. Eh meron tayong mga audio na nilalagay sa Google Slides para mas engaging at mas makatotohanan na feel ng ating mga learners na they are really part of that Squid Game. Tsaka ang dami no, ang dami kong napupulot dito na idea sa sinishare ni Sir MJ. No, ang dami. Basta maging creative lang tayo as Filipino Googly teachers. Marami tayong mapupulot sa sinishare ni Sir MJ dahil napaka-husay ng pagkaka-present. You know what? I-explore lang talaga natin ang mga Google app. Eh, makakapag-create tayo ng something like this one. Very creative, Sir MJ. I know, hindi pa tayo tapos. Please continue, Sir MJ. Don't worry, hindi ka pa eliminated.
Ay,
Ikaw yung hindi ka pwedeng ma-eliminate. sige lang. Continue
thank you
lang.
so much, sir. Sir, actually, it's ano na po, yung that's the final game and natapos naman siya. So, ayun. And yun nga,
Alright.
kagaya ng sinabi ni sir, yan, thank you so much po. Just be innovative, no? And we can maximize yung mga Google application tools na meron tayo, no? Hindi naman necessary na lagi tayong mag-iisip ng concept like Squid Games, no? Kahit dyan ay o normal classroom setup, we can still maximize the different secrets. Yun nga yung mga tinatawag nating secrets, no? Kasi common yung ginagamit natin sa mga forms, ganyan. Pwede pala siyang lagyan ng ganito, pwede pala siyang lagyan ng iba't ibang, say for example, reward reinforcement activities. Yan. So those are some of the points na gusto kong ma-implore. And of course, yan, sa mga games na to, I hope that the students will experience yun nga, yung tinatawag nating meaningful learning experiences, no? And ma-feature out or ma-brought out sa kanila yung spirit of a child, no? Kasi 'di ba, children, yung being a child is nandun yung spirit of play. And play, kahit adult ka, will never leave a child's body, no? So play is the start of learning. So we need to remember that lahat tayo naging bata and yung laro is somehow naging a way for us to learn many things, especially in life. And Squid Game is the
Yes,
same.
yes.
Yeah. And Squid Game is the same like that. Isa siyang laro, pero although medyo extreme yung mga challenges doon, tinuturuan lang tayo ng totoong buhay that we can learn more things about life if we activate, if we still recall the inner child within us. Yan. So yun po yung spirit ng Squid Game na meron tayo. So everyone is a player
Yes.
of a Squid Game. Thank you so much po.
Thank you, Sir MJ. And syempre, no, dapat alam din natin no, na yung mga classification of how our learners learn, syempre, nandyan naman yan lagi. No? At lagi nating ini-include yan sa paggawa ng mga designs na katulad nitong instructional material na pinresent sa ating Sir MJ. Sir MJ, a big salute to what you have done, to what you have shared with us tonight. Napakahusay ng pagkakagawa at syempre hindi yung sinasabi kasi natin minsan akala nila negative lang yung makukuha natin sa mga shows like that yung Squid Game, but we have to think deeply, we have to be, sabi nga natin, creative dahil in everything na nakikita natin meron tayong pwedeng makuha doon, no? Basta pulutin natin yung values kasi doon mo kami inumpisahan kanina sa rationalization mo, sa reason of why Squid Game. Kasi meron tayong mga values na makikita doon at doon tayo kukuha. Since, siyempre, sikat siya, talagang napapanahon siya at nakaka-relate ang mga estudyante natin, lalo na yung mga higher level na mga learners natin. So why not make use of that make use of that show or that movie na pwede nating makapagkuhan. At marami pang laro na pwede tayong makapag-create na, no? And that is being a Googly Filipino teacher. And we would like to thank you so much, Sir MJ, for giving that or for giving this opportunity na ma-share ninyo ang inyong expertise with this. At syempre, every Wednesday po, no, tayo po hanggang April 6, 2022 ay meron po tayong pag-aaral or pagbibigay ng mga ganitong klase ng pag-aaral para sa ating mga teachers para mas madali ang pagtuturo using Google. And yan po ay hatid sa inyo ng Educational Technology Unit. Sir MJ, baka meron kang gustong shout out, imbitahan mo kami, saan ka ba namin mapapanood, social media accounts, yung mga resources mo, saan pwedeng makuha, please invite us, sir. Thank you.
And so again, thank you very much po Sir Ariel, and of course the DepEd EdTech Unit family for this night. And ayun, my social media account, just type fb.com MJ Sardo. Yan, MJ Sardo. Kung ano po yung nakalagay dyan sa aking screen. And of course, yung materials, I can share it to you. Just siguro email me at yun, my account. It's yung kanina, sardomarge@gmail.com. So I can freely share yung ating Squid Game na concept. Yun. And dyan lang ako sa FB, pakalat-kalat lang ako. Actually, yun. Yun lang. And yung GEG members kasi, I encourage everyone pala to join the different GEG or Google Educator Group communities. No? Kasi sa GEG, hindi lang dito sa GEG, maraming nag-share talaga ng kanilang innovative ideas, especially na pwede natin gamitin sa ating teaching and learning process. So yan, grow with Google, gaya ng sinasabi namin. Ayan, be a Googly Filipino teacher. Yan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir MJ Sardo. And with that, maraming salamat. Again, we would like to invite you every Wednesday, 7 to 8:30 p.m. to attend our session discussing different Google apps. Sabi nga natin, let's be Googly Filipino teacher. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga umattend. And doon sa mga hindi naka-attend, don't worry, be a member of the team replay. Lahat ng ating mga sessions simula po nung unang session natin, pwede nyo pa rin attenan. Pumunta lang po kayo sa YouTube channel ng DepEd EdTech Unit or sa Facebook page ng DepEd EdTech Unit at makikita nyo po lahat ng mga sessions doon. And thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you, Sir MJ.
Thank you so much po. Thank you.
Good day, this is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto, huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.